Hey guys, it's Tom. So September is here and that means the summer has officially come to a close. Summer has come and passed. And with every summer comes a bunch of movies, and in this video I'm going to be giving you my picks for my top 10 favorite summer 2016 movies. And since we're talking movies, I got a movie shirt. What do you think? You like it? Guys, this was an interesting summer for movies. We had some really good ones. We had some flops, we had some critically panned movies. It was sort of a mixed bag. If you follow me on letterboxd.com, and I will put a link in the description below for you to do that, you can see every movie that I've seen this summer. You can see when I saw it, how much I rated it out of 5 stars, and if you look, I saw 24 films this summer. And these are films that were released starting from the first weekend in May to the last weekend in August. Now, we did get a few limited release movies that got a wide release in the summertime. So for me, because they came out for me in that time period, I'm going to count them as summer 2016 movies. In my top 10, I do have 3 limited release movies. So if you want to say, oh, those don't count, don't worry. I also have some honorable mentions, and those are blockbusters. So if you want to count my top 10 list as just blockbusters, you can include those as well. Now, just like every summer, I did not see every movie that was released. So here are a few movies that I missed this summer. So that being said, guys, let's get started. Let's get right into this top 10 list. These are movies that I had fun with, that connected with me, that I loved watching. The order might be a little different. If you follow me on letterboxd.com, you might notice one movie that, say, got 3.5 stars is above one that I gave 4 stars. You might be thinking, well, why is that? Well, maybe I just had a little bit more enjoyment while watching it. Just because a film might be better or might have a better rating doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to go watch it time and time again, or maybe I didn't enjoy it as much as another film, but I do appreciate that that film is a better film. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. So right off the bat, I do have my 3 honorable mentions, numbers 13, 12, and 11 if you want to look at that, if you are counting the limited releases, and if you're not, these would be 10, 9, and 8 for the blockbusters. You get my point. So starting at number 13, or number 10 for blockbusters, is Central Intelligence, the big spy movie, the big buddy cop movie of the summer. Last year it was Spy with Melissa McCarthy. This year it's Central Intelligence with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart, who I was actually surprised had not worked together before, and my goodness, these guys work extremely well together. First of all, you have The Rock, who's just one of the most likable actors, just people that, you want to just, shake his hand, you want to give him a hug. He's one of the most likable guys, and seeing him on screen was just wonderful. And even Kevin Hart, who I'm not always a big fan of because he has his Kevin Hart-isms where he screams really high or he says something really fast. While this movie, while there is a little bit of that, I felt like he dialed back a lot and was just more of an everyday man, and I thought that was really cool. Some pretty cool action sequences, a lot of jokes, and one thing that really hit me about this movie was its sort of message about legacy. Because Kevin Hart's character is the most popular guy in high school, and years later, he's not quite on top of things. And so I really dug this movie's message about legacy and, hey, just because, you were popular once and then years later you find yourself not as popular, it doesn't mean you're a failure. Something along those lines. Maybe I can't quite explain it, but I thought the movie did an incredible job with that message. Like I said, Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart, these guys work extremely well together. If they ever make a sequel to Central Intelligence, I'm buying a ticket immediately. So that's number 13, my honorable mention. Number 10 on the blockbusters. Well, this is gonna get confusing after a while. My second honorable mention, or number 12, or number 9, if you're counting them as blockbusters, don't worry, this will all be over quickly, is The Secret Life of Pets. This movie, I went to go see this movie after I had a long day. It wasn't a bad day, it was just a long day, and I just wanted to relax. I went to this theater, I was the only one in the theater until literally like 2 minutes before the movie started, and 2 more people walked in, but that was it. That was all that was in the theater, and I had so much fun watching this movie. Sure, if you want to call it a kid's film, well then I guess you can call me a kid at heart, because I smiled throughout this entire film. It was really touching, the animation was spectacular, and this movie made me want to go up by a dog and just hug it forever and ever. I mean, yes, a lot of people are saying this film follows the Toy Story narrative, and yeah, it does, but there are worse things than copying Toy Story, in my opinion. Is Toy Story a better film? Absolutely, that's a better film. But The Secret Life of Pets, for what it was trying to be, a fun kids movie about what the pets do when you're not around and the little adventures they may have, I had so much fun with this movie. And some of the jokes were really clever in this movie. I don't want to spoil anything, but some of the jokes, I was watching it and going, yeah, that's a good one. So that's number 12, or number 9. Okay, moving on to my last honorable mention. This is a film that I think is going to be in people's actual top 10. I still really enjoyed this movie, just maybe not as much as everyone else, and that's The Nice Guys. The Nice Guys, directed by Shane Black and starring Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. These two actors, they work so well together. I have to be honest, I wasn't looking forward to this movie. When I first saw the trailers back in January, I just thought it was just going to be this generic buddy cop comedy. Well, I didn't really think the trailer was that funny when I first saw it, but everyone I talked to was looking forward to seeing it, so I was like, okay, I'm on board, I think I'll go see it. And I had a lot of fun watching this movie. Now, I did talk about this movie in my Best of the Year So Far video. I'll put a link in the description down below as well. And I mentioned in that movie that I felt totally transported to the 1970s. The look, the sound, the colors, the clothes, everything was so... It looked so good that I was 100% convinced that Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe had traveled through time, which there's not time travel in the movie, but had traveled back in time and they'd filmed this movie in the 70s and just released it now. It was spectacular, and of course me as a big 70s music fan, it had a great soundtrack, so how could I not love it, you know what I'm saying? My only real big issue with this film and why it's sort of keeping me from putting it in my top 10 is that I felt like a lot of scenes were exposition heavy, because, you know, you watch the film and there's so many cool action sequences and butt kicking and so much car chases, whatever, and there were quite a few scenes where, you know, let's sit down and discuss the plot, and I didn't love all of that. I mean, it helped me try to figure out what the story was, but after a while, I don't know, it didn't really grab me. So that's my third honorable mention, or number 11 if you count the limited releases, and number 8 if you count the blockbusters. Okay, we're out of the honorable mentions, so from here on out, I'm just going to refer to everything as 10 to 1. Is that good? Because that's what I'm going to do. Number 10 is Nerve. This was a movie that I was actually looking forward to. I was really hooked by the trailer. I thought the premise was intriguing, what people would do for money and fame, and especially Emma Roberts and Dave Franco. I never hated them, but they never wowed me in anything. They're great in their comedies for what they do, but I was really hoping this was the movie that really could put them on the map, so that when I saw them in future movies, I'd be like, yes, you know, they are great actors, and this movie delivered. These two give such great performances, they work extremely well together, they have such good chemistry, and I just love the world around this app that is called Nerve, where I was transported to this world where this could potentially exist. Does it get crazy? Absolutely, especially the ending is just off the wall crazy. But I had so much fun with this movie. I went to see it with a friend of mine who was also looking to see it, and she had a great time too. I had a great time. It was super suspenseful at times, which with a title like Nerve you would think it would be, but it was just a gripping movie, and I really feel like it kind of went under the radar. No one hated it, but I felt like it didn't get as much attention as maybe it should have. I thought it was a fantastic thriller. It's a little crazy at times, but once you go with that and get on the ride, it's a super fun one. Coming at number 9, I have the second Disney live-action CGI movie, and that's Pete's Dragon. Now, I never saw the original Pete's Dragon. I don't even remember really hearing about it too much until this remake was coming out, and I was like, Pete's Dragon, where have I heard that name before? So maybe I just heard it in passing, never saw the original. And I don't mind the fact that I did, because this movie apparently is very different. I've seen clips from the original since seeing it, and this was a spectacular movie. It was a really wonderful tale, and the CGI was, again, really good for Disney. I wouldn't say it was up to par like the Jungle Book was a few months ago. This one, I mean, there really just was one CGI creature, the dragon. The Jungle Book had 55 creatures to do. But Pete's Dragon, the CGI was really, really well done, and it made me believe that this creature did actually exist. And if seeing CGI makes me want something to be real, then it's doing its job. At number 8, I have one of the superhero movies of the summer that was kind of critically panned, but I don't really understand all the criticism. I loved it. I had a great time watching it, and that's XMen Apocalypse. Now, this was my first X-Men movie that I actually saw in the theater, believe it or not, and I had tons of fun watching these characters. It was funny, it was action-packed, it had some heart in it. I mean, it was just wonderful. It was a superhero movie doing what a superhero movie does best, kicking serious butt. I can understand if some people didn't like this compared to other X-Men movies or compared to other superhero movies, but I don't understand the 38% on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever it was. I watched it and I was like, what's wrong with this movie? I mean, yeah, there might be some minor flaws, but there was so much to like about it and very few flaws that I don't see why the critics just hated this movie. It was a big surprise for me because I thought it would be okay because of all the critic reviews, but I had tons of fun watching it, and you can tell because I have it in my top 10 list. And coming in at number 7, I have Star Trek Beyond. Now, a little history. I saw the 2009 reboot of Star Trek in the theater, had no interest in seeing it. I think I was dragged into seeing it by my older brother. But I had a great time watching that one. Never saw Into Darkness because I remember it was kind of polarizing at the time, so I just straight up never saw it. So I didn't have that much interest in seeing Beyond. Not that I thought it would be terrible. I just was just like, well, you know, I haven't seen the first one since it came out. I never saw the second one, so I figured why bother. But my friend had some free tickets. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go see it. Oh my gosh, I am so glad I saw it because I had tons of fun with Star Trek Beyond. And the one thing that I loved so much about the movie, not so much the movie itself, was the movie came out at a time, and I saw it at a time, where I was seeing a lot of disappointing films, or films that really didn't do anything for me. I won't mention them here because I am going to do a later video talking about my, most disappointing films of the summer. Oh boy. But my point is, seeing Star Trek Beyond amongst those average or disappointing films was like a breath of fresh air. It was like, thank you! A good summer blockbuster where I can just eat popcorn and have so much fun with this movie. So coming in at number 6 is the first of the 3 limited release movies on my list, and this is going to be The Lobster. Now, this film originally came out in May of last year, I believe in France and in a few film festivals, and then finally got a wide release in May 2016. So, since it came out in May 2016, in the summer 2016 season, I'm still counting it as a summer 2016 movie because that's when I got to see it, that's when it was released. You get the point. The Lobster is a phenomenal movie. I do have a review on my channel if you want to get my full thoughts on it. Colin Farrell gives a great performance. The whole concept about what someone will do for love, or what love does to us. This movie really explored it beautifully. Now, the reason why this movie isn't higher on my list, despite the fact how much I loved it, is because I really can't see myself rewatching this film again. For one, it's a long movie, and two, it's kind of emotionally draining, but I don't mean that in a bad way whatsoever. But I really just can't see myself watching this film again and again and again. But I am so glad I saw it because everyone's talking about The Lobster, and they are right to do so. This is a phenomenal movie, and even if I saw 5 other films I liked better, I couldn't ignore what a phenomenal movie it was. So it sort of had to be in my top 10 list. Well, it had to. I did enjoy it, but you know what I mean. Coming in at number 5 is the Pixar film of the summer. Last year it was Inside Out, and this year it's Finding Dory. Another film that I was excited to see because I love Finding Nemo. Who doesn't love Finding Nemo? So I was excited to see Finding Dory, and it was just spectacular. You know, sitting in the theater, being transported back to 2003, seeing all these characters that I've loved for the past 13 years, they're back, and it was like my childhood had come back, and I had so much fun with Finding Dory. The voice work is top notch. Ellen DeGeneres as Dory. You really cannot picture anyone else voicing this part. The movie had a lot of humor. It had tons of heart. I also do have a full review of this movie on my YouTube channel if you want to see that. I will put a link down in the description for you to check that out if you want to get my full thoughts. But long story short, Finding Dory was a beautifully animated film, a wonderful childhood reflection, and just seeing these characters again, and summer fun. Finding Dory, you are just great. Coming in at number 4 is another limited release film that I don't know if many people had heard of it. In fact, I didn't hear about it until I saw a trailer for it, and I really had no interest in seeing this movie, but my friend was like, no man, I know the director, not personally of course, but I want to go see this movie. And so we were going to, and it's a long story, but I ended up seeing the film by myself. But I'm glad I did, and that is Hunt for the Wilder People, directed by this guy. I always have trouble pronouncing his name, so I'm not even going to try, so here's his name. This guy directed What We Do in the Shadows, a really funny vampire mockumentary that came out last year, and he's also going to be the director of the upcoming Thor Ragnarok. Now, seeing What We Do in the Shadows and this one, Hunt for the Wilder People, makes me excited to be like, you know what? I don't care if he's working on a Marvel film, if he works on a Disney film, any film this guy makes, I'm gonna go see it, because Hunt for the Wilder People is one of the best films I've seen this year. It is remarkably funny, and when I say that, the humor is very sharp, very quick, and very witty. It's really fantastic. Sam Neill, who we all know from Jurassic Park, does a really good job in this movie. He gives a great performance, and so does the kid in the film. I don't know his name, I've never heard him before, but he gives a really good performance. There's a lot of heart mixed in with a lot of humor. I don't feel like the humor overshadows the heart, and I don't feel like the heart overshadows the humor. I think there's a really nice blend there. Hunt for the Wilder People is a wonderful film. If you get a chance to see it, I don't even think it's in theaters anymore, but when it comes out on Blu-ray, Redbox, if you get a chance to see it, I would recommend it, especially if you are a fan of quirky comedy and just something that you've never seen before, because I've certainly never seen anything like this movie before. It is just a wonderful movie. Coming in at number 3 is another surprise film that, to be honest, I really didn't have any interest in. I thought it looked pretty generic. Boy, am I so glad that I was wrong. Kubo and the Two Strings. Oh my gosh, this movie was fantastic. Beautifully animated, some great humor and great heart. Just a wonderfully enjoyable film with some beautiful animation, top-notch voice work. Oh, Kubo and the Two Strings, I'm so glad you surprised me. Because I wasn't too familiar with Laika, the studio that made this movie. Maybe I'd heard the name, I had certainly heard of the films it made, like Coraline, Paranorman, and The Box Trolls. So when my friend was like, no man, let's go see this movie, and I had heard how good it was, I went to go see it, and I had tons of fun. I had a smile on my face the entire movie. The voice work is fantastic. The humor is really strong in this movie, and the animation was spectacular, especially all of the paper animation with all the little paper mache items that Kubo has to animate with his guitar. If you haven't seen the movie, this probably sounds like hodgepodge mishmash to you, but don't worry, this will all make sense. Kubo and the Two Strings was a marvelous surprise. It came out right when the summer was about to end, so it was a great way to cap off the summer. Kubo and the Two Strings, I'm so glad I saw you. I'm so sorry that I doubted you when I saw the trailer. Thank you for surprising me. Thank you for making the summer end on such a high note, and thank you for being a great film. I'm gonna stop now. Coming in at number 2 is the last limited release film on my list. This was a film that it was being marketed as. You've never heard of a film like this before. You've heard that a million times, but this time it's true. And that's Swiss Army Man. If you've never heard of this film, Swiss Army Man stars Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe. Paul Dano is stranded on this island. Daniel Radcliffe's body washes up on shore, and he wants to know about life, so they work together to find a way to make it off this island. And this movie has something that I never thought I would laugh so hysterically at. Fart jokes. Fart jokes in this movie. They take something so stupid and so juvenile as a fart joke and turn it into something clever and actually funny. Daniel Radcliffe and Paul Dano both give fantastic performances in this movie. This is one that if you love Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter, which we all do, this is another one I was like, no, he can do more than just play Harry Potter. Watch this movie. It's absolutely fantastic. The kind of humor that he gets away with, all of the great action scenes, I'm putting that in air quotes because it's just the two of them. They're not fighting each other, they're fighting the wilderness. It's awesome to see, mixed in with so much humor. This movie is hilarious, and it is so heartwarming as well because you see the great chemistry that these two actors and these two characters have together. Daniel Radcliffe's character wants to learn about life, and Paul Dano is teaching Daniel Radcliffe all about life, while Daniel Radcliffe is helping Paul Dano get off this island. It's a beautifully done film, and I have to be honest, just like the movie poster said, I don't think I've ever seen a film like this. They take something like fart jokes and a simple plot like stranded on an island, like Castaway, and they kind of turn those cliched tropes, they kind of turn them around and make something original out of them. Swiss Army Man, I had so much fun watching this movie, and I would absolutely love to see it again. If you get a chance to see it, I would definitely recommend checking out Swiss Army Man. Okay guys, my number one pick, my favorite movie of the summer. You probably can guess it because it's making a bunch of top 10 lists, I'm sure. This was one of the two movies I was most looking forward to this year. The first one was Hail Caesar, which I admitted I wasn't a big fan of. And this one, I saw it, and it delivered so well. It kicked off the summer into such high gear, and I'm so happy to proclaim to the heavens that it was as good as it was. Captain America Civil War. Now, I know it's easy for this film to either scream to the heavens or say, it's overrated. Guys, I saw this film twice. Both times, I was entertained, I cared about the characters, I got emotional at all of the political squabblings and friends fighting. There was just so much to love about this movie, guys. I bought advance tickets to see it. That's how much I was looking forward to seeing it. I mean, I even have a Spider-Man shirt on right now. Guys, this movie made me excited for Spider-Man. The past few Spider-Man films with Andrew Garfield, they were bad, but I never disliked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I thought he did a fine job. Fine, that's the key word there. Tom Holland blew me away. I am so looking forward to Homecoming and future Marvel installments, of course, with him, with Black Panther, just with so many great characters. And this movie could have failed so easily with all of these characters, but they each got great screen time, kind of like the first Avengers movie. You understood where each character was coming from. Most of the movie, you're swapping, I agree with Cap, I agree with Iron Man, I agree with Black Widow, I agree with Hawkeye. You know, you never sided with one character. It was a constant battle of wits and quite literally battle of fists. That rhymes. This was the movie, when I saw it, I was just like, thank you, because I was looking forward to this movie and it so delivered, and it delivered in a way that really no other film of the summer did. Either it was a surprise, like Kubo and the Two Strings, or I had an idea of what it was going to be, like Swiss Army Man, but Captain America Civil War just was fantastic. It was everything that I wanted it to be and so much more, so I had to put it in the number one slot. And also because, as I mentioned, it was the first film that came out of the summertime. It was the first weekend in May, and it just kicked the summer into such high gear. I was so ready for the summer. Not all the films delivered, but all these films on this list did for me. Guys, what do you think about my top 10, top 13 list of my favorite movies of the summer? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have other films you liked a little better? Let me know down in the comments below. Guys, thank you so much for watching my top 10 favorite movies of the summer. Stay tuned because also on my channel I will be posting my top 5 most disappointing films of the summer. You know me, I don't like to outright say something's bad, but these were films that did let me down, that did make me leave the theater just sighing, going, it wasn't that great, or my head hung low. So I call them most disappointing, and those were those films. But anyway, that's not for this video. In this film, we're talking about the good stuff. So that's my list, guys. What did you think? Let me know. Be sure to like this video and leave a comment down below and let me know all that stuff. And subscribe if you haven't, and also subscribe to my podcast. Follow me on letterboxd.com. I'll put a link in the description below. Follow me on Twitter as well. So guys, my voice is starting to go a little bit. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. I'm Tom Urrutia.